the purpose of tonight's meeting is really to go to, we started a President's Club a while back, and we didn't really do with it what we wanted to do, but coming back from the Minneapolis convention, there's some things that we want to make sure we accomplish. We want to make sure that, we talk about equity ownership, and you saw that happen in Minneapolis. Those of you who were there, it was phenomenal to see a number of people go across the stage, a ton of awards. I don't know how many ring earners were awarded on Friday night at the gala, but there were many people that earned their $100,000 rings, their $250 to $500 rings, the $500 and up rings, and yes, we had a seven-figure ring earner that night. So we've got some exciting things happening. What it really is tonight is really a focus here. What we want to accomplish is really a couple of things. When you look at the anatomy of an explosion, here's what it really breaks down to. There's got to be a burning desire and big frustration. That kind of sounds contradictory, right? You say, well, how can you have a burning desire and frustration? Well, when you really fire it up, you get frustrated because you want it to move faster. You want it to happen faster, and maybe you're not sure what to do. We're going to talk about what you need to do tonight. I'm going to give you some specific things tonight, but yet I'm going to keep it very, very simple so you can focus. A surge in attitude and vision of the leader. Each and every one of us on this webinar tonight are leaders, and it's incumbent upon us to lead our teams, and that team may be a team of one right now because you may have just gotten started, or maybe a team of 5 or 100 or maybe 500, but it all starts with the leader. It all comes down to big goals written and in a specific plan, and tonight I'm going to help you identify that. What we want to create is a mastermind alliance of key leaders, people that are in the game, fighting at it every day. We want to make sure that the people that are including what we're going to call the President's Club are people that really want to be there, and they want to be there based on their actions and their activity, okay, and their results. A daring action. We want to make a bold move. There's no question about it. We had, a little over 100 people in Minneapolis at this last convention. Happy but not satisfied. Our goal for next year, it's a big, hairy, audacious goal, and that is to have 1,500 people in Las Vegas next year, and that's from our team alone. So we've got a lot of work to do, but it can be done and it will be done, and the way that's going to happen is helping you reach the success levels that you want to reach, okay? So what it really comes down to is a plan to focus, and I want you to visualize something for a second. I want you to think right now, today, how many red cars did you see on the road? Now, you may say your probable answer is, well, I don't know. And the reason why you don't know is because you weren't thinking about how many red cars were on the road today. You weren't looking for how many red cars were on the road today. But tomorrow, if you actually do this exercise and indulge me here, and you actually count how many red cars you see on the road tomorrow, you're going to find you're going to see tens, maybe 100 or more red cars on the road tomorrow, and those same cars were on the road today. But see, you weren't thinking about red cars. You weren't focused on red cars, so therefore you didn't look for any. So what's my point in saying this? When we talk about building a business, we're in the financial service business, but we do that through distribution. So what are we thinking about? What we're thinking about is what we find. What we're thinking about is what we see and touch every day. If we're thinking about sales, that's what we're looking for, right? And I don't know about you, but I haven't found anybody in 30 years that wants to buy insurance, okay? But I found a whole lot of people in the last 30 years that want to make more money, that are dissatisfied with their job, that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, see, the red car in that scenario sounds like they say, oh, yeah, I can't believe I got to be here till 5 o'clock today. Oh, boy, it's only Wednesday. Oh, it's hump day. I can't wait till Friday. Those are red cars that you weren't looking for today, but you're going to look for tomorrow, right? Because we just talked about it. So it's a focus. It's a true plan to focus. How do you start? Well, it's simple. It is a marathon. Our business is a marathon, but it starts with the sprint, okay? In other words, to get out of the gate, you got to start, right? and you got to sprint out of the gate, and then you're going to pace yourself for the endurance of the marathon. When I say pace yourself, you know, a marathon's 26 miles long. You're not going to sprint the whole 26 miles, right? Because you probably won't make it through the finish line. But you are going to sprint out of the gate, and then you're going to get in a comfortable stride, and you're going to keep on going. Well, our business is very much the same way. When people come on board, we look to get them started quickly and get them started in a sprint. And then from there, it becomes a marathon, right? I mean, it's not supposed to be easy to be successful in any venture, and it's certainly not the case here either. Now, it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So what is the President's Club all about? What we're doing with the President's Club is we started this. It's actually going to begin on September 1st. And the benefits of being in the President's Club is a couple of things. Number one, it is a plan to build you to a seven-figure income. Now, is that going to happen for everybody in the next 12 months? Not likely, okay? However, we shoot for Mars, maybe we hit the moon, right? So the goal is to build CEOs. The goal is to help you get where you want to get to, which is the absolute best you can get to, which is CEO in our company, and that's a seven-figure type position. Now, we may not all get there, but that's the goal, okay? Now, what are the benefits of being part of the President's Club? Well, there's going to be bonuses. There'll be promotions. There'll be recognition. And the most important thing there'll be is coaching and mentoring. And that's, look, you know, many people ask me over time, Al, what made you move your family 1,800 miles where I lived for 52 years in Rhode Island? What made you move to Texas? Coaching. Being around Ron Blumenkamp on a daily basis, letting him get into my head. You know, we went to a meeting in Houston last night. We're in the car for 2.5 hours together, up and back, right? And we get to have conversations. It's all about coaching and mentoring. Really, Ron talking and me listening. See, we undervalue coaching in our business, but it's everything. How many times have we heard kids, adults today, talk about the coaches they had when they were 10 and 12 and 15 years old or in high school that really molded the way they thought going into the future? How many people thank their coaches from early on for teaching them life habits, okay? So how do you get into the President's Club? I'm going to give you what the qualification is right away, and then I'm going to show you what the plan is, okay? And the goal of this here, I happen to get a copy of the certificate. I put this up here for one specific reason. It is real. We have an equity share program in this company. I, along with many other leaders, received these certificates in Minneapolis, which talk about the equity point share program you see presented to Barbara and Al Cardi for our achievement for the last couple of years. We've only been here a couple of years. There are people who got a lot more based on years past. But the important thing is there is it just got memorialized in Minneapolis, okay? And that's what we're all fighting for. So part of the reason for this call tonight is I want to help you, each and every one of you, get to a six-figure income as quickly as possible. Because once you earn the coveted $100,000 ring, you automatically are entered into the equity share program. So it's my goal to help you get there, okay? So the first step, there's only 3 simple steps you need to accomplish to be in the President's Club, okay? The first one is you got to personally register for the Conquest of the Stars, which is the 2016 event in Las Vegas. Now let me talk about this for a second here. You know, we just came off Minneapolis. We had somewhere between 12 and 1,300 people there. We presently have over 800 people already registered for Las Vegas next year. The company started by saying it would be a $79 registration. That ended Sunday night. Now it's $89. That's going to end Friday night at midnight. After that, it's going to go up probably to $129. So if you have not registered yet, folks, we don't make money on people registering for an event. But what I'm trying to do is save you money. If you're going to be there next year and you plan on being in our business next year, then you're going to want to be in Las Vegas without a doubt. Okay, that's going to be the place to be at our annual convention. That's what that is. So I would encourage you to register, and I would do that by Friday. Now, in order for you to be in the President's Club, that commitment has to be made, okay? So if you don't plan on going to Vegas and you don't want to be in the President's Club, that's simple because they go together, okay? The second thing, you need to be a qualified associate. Now, we all know what a qualified associate is, right? You've completed the 5 steps, meaning you're a product of the product. You've introduced our business to 3 to 5 people. If you have a spouse, they have been introduced to the business. You've put a list together, and you've submitted your licensing paperwork. So if you're unlicensed, you started the pre-licensing process. If you're licensed, you started the appointment process. So that is becoming a qualified associate. There's no time frame on that. Obviously, if you do it in your first 10 days, you get promoted. If you're brand new in the business, unlicensed, new to the industry, in the first 10 days, if you complete these 5 steps, you move from 30 to 40%, okay? But there is no time frame on you becoming a qualified associate. But this must be met before you can be in the President's Club, which, again, will start September 1st. The third qualification of this year is to recruit 10 or more new people on your team during the month of August. Now, there's a little bombshell here. It's not just August. Today is July 15th. So it actually is starting today. Everybody in our company, on our team, I should say, is automatically included if they meet the first 2 steps, and of course, if they qualify. See, this is, in past years, we call it double-digit recruiting, which is in fact what it is. It's having 10 or more people on your team in a 30-day period of time. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get all 10, and we're going to talk about that. It could be 5 who get 2. It could be 3 who get 3, which is 12, right? It could be 2 who get, 5 each or 4 each, and that's still 10. It could be you getting all 10. Doesn't matter how you do it, but that's what the qualification is to be in the President's Club, okay? What you'll immediately get from that, if you qualify, is your Vegas registration will be reimbursed by Barbara and myself, okay? And that will be in Las Vegas, okay? So you register for $79 or $89, we will reimburse you for that in Las Vegas if you qualify for the President's Club. You'll also get special recognition. You're going to get special seating. You'll sit at the front of all our events. There'll be reserved seating for everybody that's in the President's Club. You'll be invited to club meetings and training only. Those will be with some of the top leaders. You'll be included in conference calls. You'll be mentored by some of the best. We'll have people like Ron Blumenkamp, Ron Petrinovich, Gilles Mua, Joe Guzman. We'll have all those people speak to you and teach you really how to get to a multi-6 and 7-figure income. Special calls with the chairman on a regular basis. But see, folks, you got to meet the criteria. You got to want to be in that environment. You got to want to be coached, right? We ask all the time. It's not if you're coachable, is if we have permission to coach you. And this is saying that, listen, here's the tryout, right? What you need to do over the next, what you actually have is 45 days, is to build a team with 10 or more starting today in the next 45 days, and you're included in this, okay? Now, how does it work? What's the real goal of the President's Club? It's not just about special seating and special recognition, although I'd want to be in the President's Club, right? I mean, I want to be recognized. I want to have recognition. For those of you, and we had many leaders on this call that walked across the stage in Minneapolis, and we had also many that did not walk across the stage and would like to walk across the stage, and that's what I'm encouraging you to do here by following this plan, okay? So the plan looks like this here. In August, the goal is for you to get 10 people on your team, okay? Now, believe it or not, sometimes the hardest step is the first one. The hardest one is getting started and creating momentum. So if you're a small team right now, or maybe you just joined us, in some respects, if you just joined us, you got a real great opportunity. Why? Because you're working with a leader who can help you build your team. And the leader's immediate goal when you come on board is to help you identify 3 people on your team. Start building your team right away. I'd like to say 3 to 5. And then the next immediate goal is to help them do the same thing and to start to really build you a foundation of a business that can perpetually grow. So the 10, and as I said, is the hardest step. Now, look at month 2, 15. Well, now you have 10 people plus yourself. It's easier to get 15 with 10 people the month before than it is necessarily to get 10 the first month, right? So think about that for a second. And what you're doing is you're using momentum because, see, what we're doing here is we're building people, okay? And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. What do we want to do the third month? 20. The goal here, 25, 35. And you can see the goal over the next 12 months is to help you qualify for CEO in our company. Now, this can happen. Will it happen for everybody? Of course not, because not everybody will be willing to do what it takes to get it done. So what we need to do is we need to manage activity, right? But focus on results. See, we can run around with our foot nailed to the ground, and we can work up a heck of a sweat, but we didn't move anywhere, did we? So what we got to be able to do is manage activity, meaning we got to create it, but we have to focus on results. And the results are basically recruiting and sales, which is what we do, right? Recruiting leads to sales, sales leads to more recruits. So when you look at this diagram here, and I want you to focus on one category here, President's Club. You'll see it's the third column from the left, and it's got those same numbers, 10, 15, 20. Now, there's different ways we can do this. You see to the right here, there's different examples of how you can get 10 people. The very top example is you come on board and you introduce 10 people to the company. You certainly can do that, and you certainly can do that from now over the next 6 weeks. You can get that done. The other way to do it is if you look to the left of that, down and on the left, you'll see that you brought in 3 people, and one person has a bunch of people under them. The other 2 people maybe haven't gotten out of the gate yet. But you still accomplished the 10. And then the one to the right is the optimal way, and I'm sure you'd all agree, if you could answer, that you go get 3 people and they go get 3 people. And to be frank with you, that is the easiest way to get it done because you're creating the model. You introduce 3 people, all they have to do is copy you and do what you did. And right there you have 12 people on your team. That is the most efficient way to get it done. But having said that, it doesn't matter, okay? The goal is to bring new markets into your business, and every new person, every new partner that joins us is a new market, right? They open up doors that would not have opened up otherwise. So what the optimal thing here is to get it done, is to get to that point, okay? Now, what we do is we build leaders, and the team will come. And the goal of, look, my intentions, and I had some conversation with some of our leaders on this call today. I couldn't reach everybody today. But look, our goal is to build leaders. It's, you know, in so many places or so many times we think about recruiting, and I'm not a big fan of the word, and most of you who know me know that. I really like to call them new partners. Recruiting to me is like taking the raw material of building a house, which is lumber, nails, shingles, all that good stuff, and just kind of throwing it on a lot and expecting the house to build itself. Well, that is what recruiting is. But when we build leaders and we build teams and we actually roll up our sleeves and help people get the job done, that's how we build leaders. So we have to work on the business, not in the business. We have to think with a mentality of when we're recruiting, we need to be selling the dream, right? We need to fast start people, which includes internal consumption, right? Now, there's a couple of reasons why we do that. Why is it important for somebody to be a product of the product? Well, let's talk about our living benefits real quick, and I'm not going to get into that because everybody on this call understands living benefits. Well, if we can't help the people that we bring on board with us, shame on us. And if they don't want to be helped, meaning they don't think they need living benefits, what makes us think that they're going to have any success in this business? To me, it's a no-brainer. What it also can be looked at as internal consumption, right? Part of your income is going to be as people join your company, and not all of it, but part of it will be when they join the company, they become a client. If you're working with somebody, well, guess what? That new person made money, the trainer made money, and that new prospect or that new partner has now been taken care of, right? We've solved the problem for them called living benefits. So internal consumption is a heart and soul of our business, but the other part of it is sharing the opportunity. See, what we want to do is recruit to build versus recruiting to sell. Now, let me explain that. When you recruit to build, what we're doing is I bring a few people on board. My intent is to build a business for them. Now, some people think that while we recruit somebody, I'm supposed to go out and make sales with them. Well, that's part of the building process, but that's not the focus, right? The focus is I bring a new person on board. My goal is to build them a business with 3 to 5 people immediately so their business starts to perpetually grow. Now, those 3 to 5 people are also going to become clients. So in the process of building, sales are being made. In the process of building, we create production. Production creates points, and of course, production leads to cash flow, which all leads to promotions. So it's real simple. If you look at the diagram on the right here, that's you. You bring a person on board, okay? They're going to become a product of the product. You're going to take them through the 5 steps of our system. Your next immediate goal for that person is to find them 3 people just like themselves. In the process of doing that, they now have 3 people on the team. They probably have achieved 6,000 points. They have a training reimbursement, okay, a $900 training reimbursement, but more importantly, their business is growing, and you've rooted your team here through this new person, okay? So a winning game plan looks something like this here. We don't recruit to sell, we recruit to build, right? We focus on building people, understanding that our system takes care of the sales. What we want to do is, new people coming on board with us, half of them should get licensed, okay? Now, you say, well, why shouldn't all of them get licensed? Well, they all should get licensed, but not all of them will, right? That's just the way it is. But our goal should be for 50% of new people that we bring on board to get licensed in a reasonable amount of time. Now, understand that's step 5 of the system, right? That's not step 1, it's step 5, because they can start the pre-license process the day they get started. And we're going to, look, we've had people go in after 3 days of doing an online course, take the test, and pass it. So this does not take an eternity. We're not passing the bar here. You're not passing the exam to do brain surgery here. This is a simple deal. You put a little bit of time into this here. You concentrate, you focus, you go in, you take a multiple choice exam, you get 7 out of 10 right, you pass, and you get a producer license, okay? So there should be an emphasis on that, but it should not be the highest priority. Folks, we got to be fighting for promotions. There's nothing more exciting than walking across the stage. For those of you that got awards, you know what I'm talking about. When you walked across the stage, there was that sense of pride, made you feel good. You were selected amongst the crowd. Well, when people get promoted, they feel the same way. See, a team that doesn't compete is not a team. And again, we are a team. There is no question about it, okay? And we need to compete as a unit. We need to compete individually to reach our individual goals, but we need to compete as a team. We need to create the team spirit. You saw the Muller team in Minneapolis, and you can see the spirit they have on their team. That's getting into us too, okay? We got some team spirit, but I think you'd all agree that we can improve upon that. Leaders in our business should have 10 to 20 sales every month. Now, I'm not saying personally, but 10 to 20 sales should be happening in your business every month, okay, so that you can grow your cash flow. Now, why is it important to grow your cash flow? Well, you've got to make money when you're in business, right? So your cash flow is an important piece of your business, needless to say. See, it's not just about recruiting, because what does that mean? It's about building, which in the process of building, production occurs, cash flow goes up. Why is that important? Why do we want to get each and every one of you on this call your ring? Because that's when the equity share program starts for you. So I've got a real sense of urgency to help you get that done, okay? A winning game plan. If you fail at any point of the game plan falls apart. We talk about this with our system. If you leave one step out of the system, it doesn't work, right? So let's look at the 5 steps. Number one, become a product of the product. Well, if you leave that out, to me, that's an absolute killer, right? If you don't believe in what we do, nobody's going to believe in you. So that's step one. You leave that out, it doesn't work, does it? What about number two? Go out there and show 3 to 5 people. Well, if you don't show anybody, how can it work? Number three, in my opinion, probably the single most important one, if I had to identify one, if you have a significant other and they're not supportive of what you're doing, that doesn't mean they get a license or they're out in the field. What I'm saying is if they're not supportive, your likelihood of success, in my opinion, is zero, okay? Because we live our family lives before our business life. Well, if you don't put a list together, you don't have a roadmap to work off of, right? So if you leave that out, that's a problem. And if you never get a license, you can never make any money. So if you think about the 5 steps, you can't leave them out. So why do we say if you fail at any point of the game plan falls apart? Because it doesn't work, right? It's kind of like a car. Well, it can be 95% right, but if the 5% that's missing is the carburetor or the starter, the car can never move, right? So you're either growing or dying in this business. While you can miss a point for a short period of time and still feel like you're winning, your business will eventually fail. So you have 2 options, be good or be gone, right? And many of you have heard this before. And folks, we don't mean, and please don't take that out of context, I don't mean you be good or we'll make sure you're gone. What I'm saying is you're either good at it or you're going to be gone. And meaning you're going to be out of the business and you're going to be building somebody else's company in a job. So be good at these keys, or you'd be going out of business is really what it comes down to. So you can't fail at these points for an extended length of time and be successful here long term. It's that simple. See, there are some people that follow the system to the letter of the system. And they are numbered, right? Peter Carolano pointed this out a while back. They're not bullet points, they're numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the order wasn't important, they would just be a bullet point. But they are steps, and the steps should be accomplished in that order. You manage activity, but you focus on results. Now look, some of you may not want to hear this. Now again, I prefaced this, we're talking about building a 7-figure income. We're talking about you becoming a CEO. Now, if you're just here to make a little bit of money part-time, of course, we welcome you. You can disregard what I'm saying. If you're just looking to make, an extra $500 a month so you can buy a new car, then you don't have to do any of the things I'm talking about. You just have to create a little bit of activity, and you're going to have what you're looking for. I'm talking about people who want to change their family tree. I'm talking about people who truly want to be financially independent. That's what I'm talking to right now. You got to focus. 365 days a year. Yeah, every day. You got to stay positive every day. CEOs don't have days off. Well, it's Sunday. I'm not going to answer the phone today. I'm not going to talk to one of my teammates who calls me with a question. Well, you're probably not going to be a CEO doing that, okay? CEOs don't have any bad days. All days are good days. Some are better than others, but they're all good days. None of them are bad days. You must be positive about your business. You must be positive about your outlook. And if you're not having a positive day, call your upline or your trainer or your leader and get that fixed as quickly as possible, okay? Because nothing will kill you more in this business than your own personal thoughts. See, it's your thoughts that create the things that happen around you. The way I've always said, I coined the phrase, I've probably copied it from somebody, what you think about comes about. If you think about winning, it's going to happen. On our leaders call on Monday, or one of the days this past week, one of the calls we had, Jacob Bell talked about how we were working together in our office in Rhode Island when I was in Rhode Island back a couple of years ago. And he says, everything that Al said would happen is happening. He knew this was all going to happen. Well, I didn't know for sure it was going to happen, but I believed it was going to happen, and I worked like it was going to happen, and I think like it's going to happen, just like I know that we are a company of destiny, and we're going to build a company that somebody's going to want to be part of someday, okay? And I'm talking about, when we talk about the equity share, the build it, sell it, share it, that is absolutely going to come to fruition. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. The question is, how much of that do you want to participate in? Now, I say that, but understand something. What people buy is the distribution. I'll refer to a company, A.L. Williams, where I started and I cut my teeth in this business. I was there 5 years. Sandy Wild came in and bought that company, and it now is known as Primerica Financial Services. That company is the same distribution that started back in 1977. Of course, some people are gone, retired, what have you. But my point is, when that company was sold, it was distribution that was bought, because distribution is king. So our business is no different. What does it mean 3, 4, 5 years from now? If we're good enough and this company we're marketing and it was sold, you get the share in the equity of that, but you still have your business. Phenomenal, okay? So no bad days, positive. People ask me, why am I fired up all the time? That's why, okay? We got a chance to do something with our lives, all of us on this call, that is truly unique and special. So I'm fired up, yeah. I'm at it all the time, yeah. You know why? Because this can happen real quick. It can happen real quick for a lot of people. So let's put some numbers to this here. Now, of course, there's no exact science for this here, but I'm just giving you some baselines. You know, in your first 3 months, what can you expect? Now, of course, if you're licensed, this stuff can all happen. So let me back up a second. If you're new, okay, and we have many new people that have just joined us perhaps in a month or two, and maybe you don't have your license yet, and maybe you're not a bona fide trainer. Can you still qualify to be in the President's Club? Absolutely, and you've got a helper. It's called your leader. You put him in front of the people. You will learn our business in the process of also making the President's Club. So having said that, if you don't have a license today, put that in perspective. This may start from you not in September, maybe it starts in October or November. Not that you qualify for the club, that the income starts to flow for you, because of course you need a license to do that. Well, here's what I see happening in the first 3 months. If you work this plan, you probably, in training people, will put your name on somewhere between 50 and 60 applications over that 3-month period of time. Why is that? You're working with Bill, you're working with Mary, you're working with Boris, you're working with Natasha. They're putting you in front of people. You know, we're following the steps. People are coming on board. They're buying plans. You're the licensed trainer. You're the one writing those plans. So your personal production will be higher in those first 90 days as you're building your team. But if you have some people on your team, and these are for the people that are a little bit more experienced that have teams, there's going to be override income in there. So I look at the first 90 days as, you know, you're going to put your name on a lot of applications because you're going to be working with a lot of new people. But if you have a team, it's not unlikely for them to do a little bit of production, right? We talk about $40,000 a month. That sounds like, wow, $40,000, is that a lot? I don't know. Let's quantify it. Well, our average client spends $3,600 a year, $300 a month. Actually, in the company, it's over $4,000 a year. So if we use the $3,600 average, what is that? That's 11 new clients a month. That's all that is, right? We're not talking about 1,000 new clients. We're talking about, you know, 10 to 12 new clients a month, and that override income is there. We'll look at that 90-day potential income if you're a BVP. We based it on 70% at the BVP level. Understand you may not be there yet, or you may be above that. You factor that in. This is just an example. And we only built in a 10% override, not a big override. Well, that's $75,000 of cash flow over the next 90 days. Now, you understand why I say you stay positive. You don't have any days off. There's no bad days, right? It's a 365-day deal to build financial independence. Now, let's look at the next 3 months from building through this plan, right? You started with 10 people. The next month is 15. The next month is 20. Now, remember, once you get to 10, they're helping you with the 15. They're all helping you with the 20. They're all helping you get 25. That's pretty simple, right? Well, let's look at the next 90 days. You'll notice a little less personal production, but a lot more team production. Why? You've got licensed people. You've got people out in the field. Your business is growing. That's what you're trying to build. So your income was about the same for that quarter, but a whole lot more of it came from your team than it came from you personal, right? Look at the first 3 months. The example shows 63,000 personal, 12,000 team. Look at the next 3 months. 31,000 personal, 45,000 team. You made about the same amount of money, but it's different. Why is it different? Because you're building a business. Other people are making money. You're helping other people become successful. In the process, you have what I like to call security in your life by building a passive income. What about the next? And I broke the next 6 months down in 2-month intervals, right? Well, now look at months 6 to 8. You'll notice there's no personal sales there. It's all team. It's all team building, right? At this point in time, you've already been promoted once or twice. You look at 8 to 10 months, and you look at the 10 to 12-month game. Now, I was conservative here. I used $2,000 per client. I didn't use $3,600. I didn't use $4,000. But look at the potential income in 12 months if you can focus your energy on building a team. You know, we had a great Minneapolis convention, and we had a lot of, and you know, the highlight when we talked about it this week on our Rise and Shine call, which I believe is the hidden secret to our business, is the call that we do every morning from, depending where you are, 6:15 to 6:30 Central and whatever time zone you're in. But that little 15-minute call really kind of gets me going, and I know it gets many of you going, and it's, I believe, a hidden gem to our business because we have an opportunity to talk to everybody and share with everybody on a daily basis, albeit it might only be 15 to 30 minutes, but it's a key component. Everybody this week has been talking about what they heard on Saturday. Now, just for those of you that weren't there, Saturday was all about leadership training. There was no product training on Saturday. There was no talk about living benefits. There was no tax-free income or any of that. It was all about how to build your business and what it would mean for you to have financial success in your family, what it would mean for you to, you know, maybe live in a different zip code, buy a home, have a different lifestyle, do the kind of things you want to do that, you know, a business with solid financial resource can do for you. Okay? So what this is a game plan. And the game plan is a 12-month goal for you to become a CEO. Okay? You know, the second goal is for you to cash flow 7-figure income. Again, I backed it down. You know, here's what your business would look like. Over 1,200 people would join your company. If you hit those numbers right on the tee, you'd probably have a minimum of 250 people at the Vegas convention, and you do a ton of production. So what it comes down to is, you know, as Henry Ford said, you know, coming together is a beginning. And, you know, we have been, we came together a while back, and our team has been working together. And keeping together is progress. And there's no question, we've been keeping together. We progress, we grow each and every month. Our team each and every month grows in production and in recruiting. But working together is really the essence of what this is all about. There is no better example than our leadership in this company, Ron Blumenkemper, when we talk about a servant mentality, people helping people, meaning, you know, our goal is to help you reach the goals that you want to get to. So in summary here, and I'm going to have a couple of people speak here in just a minute, I just want to point out to you that the whole plan here gets back to one thing, and that is helping you get to a CEO. You know, that's the value in our business. That's the top position in our company. I believe we shoot for Mars, maybe we hit the moon. And let me say this here. We'd be naive to think that everybody's going to do this just because we say we want to do it. We already know that, and I already know not everybody's going to do this, but some will. I also know that some will come real close, and if you got half the way there and you made $250,000, or you got a quarter of the way there, and maybe you made $150,000, what would that do for your family? What if you only made $50,000? Would that help you from the situation you're in right now? So we've got to remember, folks, that the reason why we're all here is not because of financial services. Financial services is what we do, but why we do it is a lot different than that, okay? You know, I didn't get involved in A.L. Williams 30 years ago strictly because of a mathematical concept. No, I got involved because I bought into the vision of if I was willing to help other people, I could really build an income for myself and my family that would provide me the freedom that I was looking for, the freedom to not have to answer to anybody, take a day off when I want, build an income that I knew I would never get in a job, so that I wouldn't have to end up like everybody else, retired broke, right? See, that's why I got involved, and it just happened to be financial services. Folks, our focus needs to be on the red car. The red car are people that are out there each and every day struggling to pay their bills, trying to figure out how they're going to buy a house, how they're going to maybe pay their mortgage next month, how they're going to send their kids to college. That's what America is facing right now. There's a whole lot of people. When you got 1 out of 4 people who work at minimum wage, and you got half the population that doesn't have a full-time job, folks, we got a big problem in America, and it's far greater than just living benefits. It's far greater than that. It is the fact that we can restore hope and opportunity for so many people. That's what we need to be talking about. That's what we need to be shouting from the rooftops on. And all I want to do, my purpose here, is to identify which one of you or how many of you want to do this with me. And for that, I promise you that I'm going to be spending a lot of time coaching, mentoring, putting you in front of the right type of people, the people that can help you grow your business. You know, they say your average income is going to be like the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you think about the 5 people you're around all the time and think about their average income, that's about what you're going to do, okay? Think about the people that if you were to challenge yourself to become a part of the President's Club, which in my opinion starts the process for a 6-figure income. That starts it. Getting 10 people on your team, collapsing time frames in a short period of time, in 30 days, that now your business can explode. It's very different than getting 1 a month for 10 months. Getting 10 people in 1 month can create an explosion because everything happens when you do that, right? Competition happens, people rise above, leaders are born, leaders are starting to develop in that process, and you start to build the type of income you want to build. So what I'm going to do here, and if you have some questions, you can go ahead and type them into the question box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Brian Daly. You know, Brian and I have been together here almost from the beginning, Brian, back, I think it was the beginning. And I can remember times with Brian where, you know, Ron Blumenkepper said something the other day on the call. I can remember in June of 2013, I remember like yesterday, it was June 1st, you say, some people say, well, how was Freedom Builder info? You know, how did you think of all that? Well, it really was as simple as this here. We're having a conversation. So, you know, we need to create a team site for our team just so they have a place to go, tools, blah, blah, blah. Well, I said, well, I like the word freedom, you know. Brian said, well, I like the word builder. Well, there it is, Freedom Builder, done. And it happened just like that over a casual conversation. But June 1st, 2013, we're in Las Vegas, and it's Brian, Fred King, a guy named Rick Panis, who's not with us anymore, and myself. That was our entire team 2 years ago, June 1st, 2013. Fast forward ahead, you know, whatever it was, July 9th, 2015, over 100 people on our team, and you know, there's a whole lot more, of course, on the team that weren't there, but we went from 4 people. So Brian Daly has been there right from the beginning, one of the great leaders in our company. And Brian, if you would, take a minute or two and just share your thoughts on what we talked about.
Awesome, Al. Super job, buddy, as always. And, you know, been around it, you know, thanks for reminding me of that, you know, from very, very humble beginnings, great things can come. And, you know, the President's Club and the Plan to Focus is a system to save yourself from yourself. And every day we fight a war of distractions. And I'm so glad that, you know, you kind of dusted this off and brought this back out and created this urgent meeting tonight. Perfect timing for it. Because, you know, fighting that war of distractions every single day is what is keeping on path and keeping focused on the, you know, the main thing. And main thing, of course, is building teams, building a business, right? So the President's Club, in a nutshell, simplifies it So of course you can simplify and multiply, but simplify your business so you can build a business and not get distracted by all the things that we get distracted with every single day. And committing to those goals and those numbers, and it will happen. The first month is the hardest. Every month thereafter it gets easier. So putting the pedal to the metal in the earlier months to assure. And the most exciting thing about it is as you're hitting the goals and the numbers, you can see it and believe it coming. And it's just as we said before, I've seen this movie. I know how it ends. And getting after it for President's Club, staying focused on track, not allowing to get distracted as I do and as we all do, for 12 months. I mean, could you stand on your head for 12 months? Just about, right? Can you stay focused for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and get your teams to focus? And of course, the first focus is the first 30 days, getting that 10, getting that lift, getting off the ground, starting to achieve some altitude. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. What a super, super job.
Well, Brian, I appreciate you.
That's all I have to say about that.
I appreciate that. We've got a couple of questions in here. I'll answer them in between. Peter Catalano's going to say a few words for us as well. Milton, yes, team members do count, and they count just like our promotion guidelines do, which is no more than a third can come from one leg, which means that if one person gets 10 people, if that's the only person direct to you, then you get credit for 3. They get credit for 10, but you get credit for 3, right? So just like our company guidelines, but that is a good question. And yes, your team is involved and the numbers do count. Jen Pitty, my butt is on fire. Jen, so is mine. It's on fire every single day, most of the day. Okay, so I'm with you. Let's go get it done. Others are just, can we get the slide presentation? Yes, you certainly can. I appreciate the kind words. John Myers, appreciate that. Craig Klein, yes, you can. John Myers, I am in. Love that. Jerry Bowles, yes, you'll absolutely get the presentation. Okay, let me have Peter speak here. We've got a couple more questions coming in. Jeff Mann's on in, great. And I'll answer some more then. But Peter, go ahead, if you would. I asked Peter to be on the call. Peter is one of our newer members, okay? He's been with us, I don't know, Peter, it seems like forever, but I know it's only been maybe 3-4 months. We first met in the Humble meeting when we were running those meetings, and you've stepped up in a way. You're a new guy. When I say new, you've been with us less than a year, about 6 months, and you clearly showed that you want to win. You've displayed all the leadership qualities. And I think for someone like Peter Catalano, been with us just a short time, this is a key chance for you to get on the game plan quickly and build your income. So, Peter, if you would, just share your thoughts for a moment. I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, I really became active around February is when I saw the light and said, whoa, this is a bigger deal than I realized it was. What you put out here is exactly what somebody like me needs to have a great track to run on and move forward. As you and I have discussed before, my focus right now is to help 12 people on my team become BVPs. And if you look at our compensation schedule and you look at the CEO level, you'll pretty much connect why we want 12 BVPs at our level. So this is an excellent, awesome track to help me help those 12 get to that BVP level. And of course, I want a lot more than that. The thing I love about this business that I did not experience in my previous firm is that I get to truly help. We have a couple people on our team right now, one who's joined us recently who's had a pretty strong, pretty difficult medical condition. And I'll tell you, my heart goes out to him. He attends our meetings. You all get to meet him soon if you already don't know him. And he is a reason that's moving me forward like fire, like rapid fire. Tony, you'll share your story at other times, I know, during the meetings, but you've got my heart, man. And and I want to just help you. I was talking to your sister today who brought you on board, and we were both saying, what can we do to help you? And that's the essence that I feel in this organization. You know, even though I'm the new kid on the block, I've been privileged to head down to that League City office, and I can tell everybody on the line here, if you're wondering if the coaching is worth doing the work to get the coaching in the President's Club, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, it absolutely positively is. I've had the privilege, as I said, to be down in that League City office and to be hanging around Al and Mr. Bloom and Kemper Bloom. And what I have gained from these two in this short amount of time is nothing less than spectacular for me. It's done nothing but realign my brain, change some of the synaptic fires that are going off in my brain, and really get a clear picture on what I need to do to help as many people as I possibly can. So I thank you for all you've done for me, Mr.
Great, Peter. Well, I appreciate the kind words, and look, leaders are only as good as the people that want to win, right? I mean, I say it all the time. We take no credit for your success, and we take no credit for your failure. It really is up to you. I see a bunch of people popping in here. I'm in. That's great. Now we just got to get it done, right? Dominic Bonanno, Larry McConnell, Tony Kaufman, Jeff Mintz. Appreciate all that. Patrice, how's my friend Patrice doing? Her question was, what happens if, you bring some people in and they drop out? Well, you don't lose that value, so you don't have to have 10 people don't have to be engaged on September 1st. Now, of course, that's the goal, right? I mean, there's no benefit in having people that aren't there. But no, you're not going to get penalized if somebody drops off. The goal here is for you to collapse time frames. The goal here is for you to focus in on building the business. Those of you that truly want, I'm giving you what I believe, the people I'm around. When I talk to Gillis Moore and I see what he's doing, I talk to Ron Blumenketter and he reminisces over the past. And I talk to Lindsey Byram and we go back and talk about the reminiscing of the A.L. Williams days. And, the big builders, well, it was all about building people. So, Steve Young, I asked Steve, we had a long chat this morning, Steve and I, I met Steve years ago. Interestingly enough, he was not on my team. I was not on his team. We were introduced by a mutual friend in the former company, and Steve and I became friends. We kind of went separate ways for, a while, and we're kind of reunited at Freedom Equity Group, all working together towards the same goal of building freedom for America. But I had a great talk with Steve this morning. I asked him if he would share a few minutes with us tonight and just give us his thoughts on, if you would, Steve, on what you heard tonight.
Coach, thank you, and I'm totally overwhelmed, actually. I'm sitting here listening to this, and I listened to what Brian said and Peter said, and what a gift. And I'm not, that's just not fluff and puff. Where can you go in life at 10:28 Eastern Standard Time and listen to people call your butt up and say, we got a track, we have a system, we're going to put something in place for you to stretch, we're going to help coach you and teach coaches to be coaches, and lead yourself to $100 to $1 million income? Are you kidding me? And then do it with earnest. And that's what I love about the environment you're creating. And now I got so much going through my head. First of all, I'm going to take what you just did, if you give us permission, and I'm going to teach our people that in their base shops, not even in their don't, this might be too tough for some people, and you got to start from where you're standing. It's okay. But you just lit a fire under my butt, and we're going to get double-digit recruiting. Everybody, you want to be somebody, you know what? You got to, and Peter just said it, Catalano, love you for what you said. God gave us all gifts, and like what Lindsey Byram said to me one day, if you don't use your gift, God could call you home. Make room for your gift. What's our gift? The knowledge that we're learning, the ability to inspire people. I love the fact that I get to hang around with guys like everybody of you on this phone that can give me inspiration. It beats the heck out of working for a living. And so double-digit recruiting in my base shop, you can count on it, Al Cardi. That's the deal. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's enough people out there, and I'm going to learn to challenge people's level of their integrity. Yeah, we're going to be obnoxiously polite, okay, about life. Because we got to learn the language and stretch people to go get somewhere. So, Al, I really like you to order a blue shirt with President's Club with my name on it, because I'm going to go claim one. Going to do it, and here's what I heard a long time ago. Mr. Moa over there, you know, an Asian guy, sat there and talked about what America means. I fell in love with what he had to say because he's an example of it. And I heard it real clear. He's got 16 people that make $100,000 for him to go make his 1.6 or whatever he's making, 1.8 million. 16 people making 100 grand. Well, dadgum, why can't we all do it? Now, the Vargas is out there in Hawaii. I heard it real clear that they've got 7 people making six figures. Our jobs are to help other people make that kind of money, and we'll get blessed immeasurably, which is outstanding, which Coach Byram always tells me. And I want to implement that stuff. And Bloomster told me right up front, he goes, guess what? See, now we're comparing the old days, and all, if anybody's new on the phone, you know, the old days and the old company, all that kind of stuff you hear all the time, because it's a basis point for understanding how much better our opportunity is in life right now. And what we know is this. And Bloom came to me and said, you know what, you go do 100 apps, and it's probably like 120 or something. You do 120 apps a month, you're making $1 million. I near fell off my seat. We would do that in the old days, and what, I'd make maybe $250,000. So I'm talking 5 times more income, and that turns out to be the truth. Now, who wouldn't like to make, see, our mind, the only difference between me and you is the way we think. So you got to change your stinking thinking or your belief system, and I'm telling you right now, Mr. Al Cardi, Coach Cardi, I'm a believer. I know that the Dave Regis is a believer. I know Lindsey Byron's a believer. I know all your leaders are. I'll be honored and humbled to be part of that coaching crew, and I want to earn that respect. It's not given, it's earned. And what you're doing right now is challenging people to rise. And my ego's not big enough not to take it. I want to submit to it. Our team will submit to it. And we're going to drive people to success because, first of all, without any hype and all that crap, we all know what our purpose is. We all know the crusade's there. Now, bless your families. And the way you're going to bless your family is double-digit recruiting. Learn to be a builder. Learn to confront your fears. And you old boys, get young again. You ain't too old. I'm going to be 62 years old. I can't believe it. Life's gone by. The 50-year-olds went by. I'm in my 4th quarter. God's going to call me home someday, and I want to establish a legacy for my family. And the way to do that, and I learned this too, biblically it says a man is supposed to pass on to his family's a legacy for his children's children. And you know what? I hadn't done that. I dropped the ball, and I'm still young enough, excited enough, and I'm dreaming again. I'm believing again in an opportunity because of calls like this. Because you reached out, Al Cardi. Brian Daly reaches out. He communicates. He teaches. There's such givers on this phone. You're teaching me how to be a better giver. I'm humbled by it, and I'm proud of it. And if people don't get the message, you think it's too tough or young, you're so obnoxious. Maybe I am, dadgummit, but you know what? It's a chance to be somebody, and we're gonna go do it. There's enough people in this world that want an opportunity, and it's a blessing. And we intend to share the blessing. So, Coach, that's all I have to say about that.
All right, Steve. Always a pleasure to hear Coach Young. And, you know, I'm just reading some more of these, you know, Tiffany Owens, you know, Gabriel Renee, amen. Dave and Diana Regis, great leaders, amen. Reggie Thornhill, amen. Joe Williamson, very kind words. We're on fire now thanks to what we have learned over the last week, have a complete understanding of the proposition. So, you know, hey, this is what it's all about, right? Hey, just to round up this call, I asked Ramsey to say a few words. Ramsey's got one of the leading base shops in the country. He was recognized, him and Eddie Rhodes, as I believe the 3rd or 4th biggest base shop in the country, and that was announced in Minneapolis, and they got the awards for that. So, Ramsey, if you would, take a minute or two just before we wrap up the call, please.
Yes, sir. You know what? They say all the stars have to be aligned to have a perfect storm. I think all the stars have been aligned to do this. Let's look at it for a minute. We come from Minneapolis. It's the first time they give equity shares. We know what we have to do to get equity shares. We have to hit the $100,000 club. So what happens? Al comes out with the President's Club, and he gets it to us. The stars are aligned for us. Now, some of us are sitting there and saying, wait a minute, 10 people in my team in a month? That is hard. No, it isn't, because we're not talking now the end of August. We're talking this week, and it starts only with one. It only starts with one. Just one this week, and we go out and we do what we have to do. We do the 5 steps. We go out and we go field train, and we'll have somebody under them. And next week we do the same thing, and guess what? We're there. We're moving. It's a perfect storm. It's our storm. Guess what, guys? For everybody that's listening, today we have 3 people that just started this mission, and we have 3 new associates under each one of them. And guess what? They're running for it. They're on the call today, and they're working at it. And if they can do it, start it today, guess what? Every one of us can do it this week. We are the perfect storm. And we're going to be a storm when we walk into Vegas in there. And you know why we're going to be a storm? Because we're going to walk in there with $100,000 incomes, $200,000 incomes, $300,000 incomes. But it's not about income. It's about helping people and helping our families. And Al, I want to thank you for that perfect storm.
All right, Renzi, thank you. Hey, gang, you know, I'm hearing small. Lori Basuski, you get no question about it. I'm in. Helen Barker, I'm in. Eddie Rhodes, I'm in. Thanks. This is awesome. Greg Malone, thanks so much for setting the path to CEO. Jen Peg, I could listen all night. Jen, I know you're on fire. Your butt's on fire. I already know that. Hey, listen, while we're on the call here, Ron Blumenkemper just called, and I 3-wayed him in, so he's on the call right now, and I can't think of a better way to end this call. You know, this is a leadership call. This is about, because each and every one of you on this call is a leader. We got well over 100 people on this call, and you've been listening intently the whole time. Look, this is a plan for us to dominate. It's a time for us to win as a team. It's a time for us to help you get your raise, help you become part of the equity share of the legacy that we're going to create at Freedom Equity Group. So, Mr. Blumenkemper, if you would, take a couple of minutes or whatever you want, and you can end our call for us.
Hey, thanks, Al. Thanks for everybody being on the call. I've been listening. And what a bunch of great leaders. I mean, just a lot of fun being around all these guys. And I mean, you know, I called Mike Hoyt, and he wasn't at the meeting last couple of nights, and I asked Mike, I said, where you been, man? And Mike's a new guy. He's an older guy. He's back from Williams with us way back when. Ran on some tough times and got back in, made 90 calls the first 2 days to get 3 appointments. And just tough as nails. He's made $500,000 before, got in an industry where, you know, in the oil business, when he got to $50 a barrel, everything kind of blew up. And he's out there getting after it. But he said he's made 10 appointments. Now, the thing that excites me the most is these old guys like myself, like a Dave Regis out in the field. Every time I call him, he's on appointments. I just talked to George. He just closed his first annuity sale. I think it was $485,000. He's on cloud 9. So, you know, they've been out in the field working. They're getting after it. And where can you go find a business where you can get guys, senior guys like us, excited about going out and just helping people, and then the payday that some of these guys are getting is just unbelievable. And I don't know, I'm just stay excited. I mean, people ask me all the time, you know, how do you stay so young? I said, well, I found the fountain of youth. It's called recruiting. Every time you recruit a guy, you get all excited again. The juices start flowing again about how you can help them get to the next level. And that's the difference between recruiting and building. I mean, recruiting is really sharing all the information. Building is really caring about that guy. Business model, that is. I'm excited to be in business with all of you. It was only two and a half years ago that Pam and I were kind of wondering if we're finished or we're going to end the race. And she had enough guts to put everything in a van and move to California for 2 years so I could figure out what was going on. I just stayed on the phone for 2 years. Didn't get off and came back to Texas, and I'm living the dream. I mean, I really am, is to have fun. And just, I'm in love with everybody in our company, especially this group. I want this group to dominate the company. There's no reason they can't. Going forever out. So thank you for your leadership. You've kind of turned my career around, too, being around me, because it's hard not to go in the office every day and be fired up from just bouncing off the walls, listening to people talk, and on the phone all day. So if you're ever depressed, get on a plane and come to Houston. Sit around the office with you. I promise you'll be pumped up. So thanks, Al.
All right, Ron. Thank you very much. Hey, folks, I appreciate everybody being on the call. Remember, this starts today, okay? So whatever happened today, you know, you get 10 people on your team over the next 45 days. September 1, you're in the President's Club. Remember, you get reimbursed for your Vegas registration in Vegas. But more importantly, that's the beginning of your trek to a 7-figure income, okay? So that's our goal, folks. Again, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the few people who spoke tonight to add some input to this. And of course, Ron Blumenkäfer, have a great night.